Welcome back to Conversations with Great Minds. I'm speaking with legendary investigative reporter Seymour Hersh, author of the new book, The Killing of Osama bin Laden. From reading the book, I understand that bin Laden was actually not hiding from the Pakistanis and from us, but he was a prisoner of the Pakistanis, and we went in not to extract him, but to kill him.
The SEALs are very angry about this because he'd been captured by the Pakistani intelligence service, the ISI, a really tough group. And we support the ISI and the Pakistani military because who knows how many nuclear bombs in their arsenal. Years ago it was 100, and we're worried sick about it. We worry often. And so we work like hell to monitor it, and we support the Army. We do a lot with the Army, and what happened is a defector, somebody, a traitor, you can call him, a colonel in the Pakistani military who didn't make general, that's just my presumption, something got him angry. We offered $25 million, standing offer, walked into our embassy in Islamabad, and we had a very competent station chief, a guy named Jonathan Bank. They brought in lie detectors, they checked it out. Bank figured out this guy was real. It was shocking. He walked in 2010 and said, we've been keeping him for 4 years. The ISI found him in the mountains between Afghanistan and Pakistan, Hindu Kush Mountains, where he was. Found him, brought him in, locked him up. It's the first thing the Pakistani military did. Long ties to the Saudis. They told the Saudis they have him. The Saudis pay to keep us away. A country we're supporting constantly and always giving gifts to, basically. They were double-crossing us, was the Saudi government. What I wrote in there, it was like a Lewis Carroll story that bin Laden, the terrorist of all time, you're going to park him there next to West Point, next to a regimental headquarters, and nobody's going to know this guy is there. I mean, anybody who knows Pakistan knows that was so impossible. But we all bought it because the president and everybody briefed. We in the press, we went gung-ho for the story. I think he was there because that's a great place to put him. You're locking him in. He's a mile and a half from the West Point of Pakistan. He's 2 miles from a regimental headquarters of a tough fighting force. If you draw a circle around it, in the circle is a major air base, 2 clandestine sites where our CIA actually works with some of the ISI, a nuclear reactor. He was packed in the middle of a no man's land, and the idea that the president sold us, we invented the story that we tracked couriers and bin Laden was engaged. He was a prisoner, and they helped us do the raid.
Right.
The radar wasn't on that night. That's how our choppers got in being undetected. They have great radar. We built the radar for them. We give them a lot of money. They're allies. They've helped us fight the Russians. It was a SEAL Team 6. It was to go in, 2 squads, 24 guys, were to go in, whack them. It was always to kill them. The Pakistanis said, Pakistan is full of jihadists. A significant percentage of the population, in some areas, almost all of them, not only are against dealing with the West, but they love bin Laden. For the general to let the world know they kept him for that long without telling anybody as a prisoner, they wouldn't be able to get to their house again. There'd be so much riots against them. So when we learned about it, the deal was eventually, we'll help you get him, kill him, take him out in a body bag. Don't tell anybody about it for a week or 10 days. That was the deal. We broke the deal.
So why did the Obama administration feel it necessary to tell us this zero dark 30 lie?
That all was on the spur of the moment. That night, Obama decided, a lot of pressure from his political people, you can't wait a week or 10 days. Somebody will talk. The Secretary of Defense was unhappy about this Gates. He's a Republican, close to the Bushes. He might leak it. Take the credit and win re-election. So he did it. He told the cover story. And like all cover stories that you don't think about, there's something called operational security in the military. That's a very important thing. He got everything wrong. He told stuff you couldn't hold. Initially, if you remember the stories, bin Laden had an AK-47 and was fighting him back, and then he had 2 women. They had to recant that stuff. It was worse than that. Almost everything he said wasn't right. But it ended up being a real mess and a story that was begging to be done. I heard from Pakistan early. I heard from somebody high up in the government indirectly. I heard from people in the Joint Special Operations Command. The SEALs were enraged that they were being credited as heroes for doing a turkey shoot. They went and did a hit.
Yeah.
If they'd been arrested arrested, they could have gone to jail.
So in this famous picture of Secretary Clinton and President Obama and the Joint Chiefs and everybody, how many of the people in that picture knew that they were going in to assassinate a man who was being held prisoner by an allied country?
That guy, Gates, knew a lot. He went crazy about going public that night. In his memoirs, it's the toughest paragraph I've ever seen. He called the National Security Advisor, Donald, and he used swear words with him. He was so enraged at him. He said it was because they made the SEALs public.
Right.
But that's not why. It was because you double-crossed 2 guys that hold the key to the bomb. And we work hard on it. We worry about it a lot. That's a big issue for us. A lot of people didn't know. All those people that came out in the basement of the CIA who said, oh my God, I worked on tracking couriers, we did it. Well, of course you let the people think they did it. You're protecting a walk-in. A walk-in is an asset.
A lot of the rest of your book is about the Syrian civil war.
You bet. It's just such a non-starter. Yes, I know we don't like the Russians, and I know we don't like Bashar, but we got to deal with reality. Russia went in there in September. The president said they're going to get into a quagmire. They're going to be in a no-man. They're going to have a war going on forever, schadenfreude, like what happened to us. And the reality is that they did great. It doesn't mean that what they did in the Ukraine isn't bad. By the way, there's a lot of trouble going there now. And you know what I think underlies it all? I think the president is really worried about NATO. Yeah. I think he's worried about the West turning away from NATO. It's sort of a useless organization. I think right now he's trying to say, this is it, we've got to support NATO.
So you agree with Donald Trump that we should...
Oh, I think what Trump said was most interesting, you know, about NATO. And I think what Trump said about, I'm going to talk to Putin is most interesting. That doesn't make him less of a non-starter in many ways.
There you go.
But he's friggin' interesting. That's all I can tell you.
We have to wrap it up. Seymour Hersh, the book is The Killing of Osama bin Laden. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, sir.